Hey everybody, it's Pastor John. I hope you're doing well this Wednesday, which means it's time for Wisdom Wednesday. If you're on YouTube, please like, comment, subscribe to this. If you're on Facebook, share this, like this, comment. Let's try and get some traction on our Wisdom Wednesdays. My daughter recently has been bringing up the subject of food poisoning. I'm not sure. I think everything is fine, but it is something that she'll ask pretty much every meal. Does this have food poisoning? It's kind of offensive to my wife, who prepares most of the meals. We don't know why she's asking, but somehow she's gotten worried about it. So I did tell her the one time I did have it, and it was horrible. It was the worst experience of my life. I don't know if you've ever had food poisoning, but it's atrocious. I think I gave it to myself, sadly, in my single days. I thawed out some meat and then refroze it. Didn't know that's a no-no, but I hurt myself pretty badly. I went off to this men's retreat. In the middle of the night, I had this intense, sharp pain in my gut. It hurt so bad, I thought I was going to die. I really did. I was off in the woods on this retreat, and I was calling some people, trying to get them to come help me, take me to the hospital. But I couldn't get any reception, I couldn't move, and I was just alone in my misery, and it hurt so bad. And then, of course, the throw up started happening. I hope you're having lunch right now, because isn't this such a fun thing? It's delightful, right? But I threw up 6 times in 4 hours. It was that bad. It was a miserable experience. Never want food poisoning. Now I tell my daughter, you want that candy? Snickers got food poisoning. So Halloween, I'm really going to rake it in right now, okay? It's going to be awesome. There is a verse in Scripture where Jesus mentions throwing up. Now, you maybe heard this, maybe you haven't, but a lot of times people get this verse confused. I want to read it. It's out of Revelation 3. Jesus says, I know all the things you do, that you are neither hot nor cold. I wish that you were one or the other. But since you are like lukewarm water, neither hot nor cold, I will spit you or vomit you out of my mouth. Now, a lot of people say, well, that's kind of weird that Jesus would say you're not hot nor cold, because a lot of times people use this as a spiritual temperature gauge. It's like, hey, you should be white hot for Jesus. You should be passionate for Jesus, and your spiritual temperature should be running hot. But he says, because you're not hot nor are you cold. Typically, we would say being cold for Jesus is a bad thing. But Jesus says, I wish you were one or the other, but what you are is lukewarm. See, he's writing to these people, to this church in Laodicea. Laodicea was this city that had a couple of cities that surrounded it. One of them had these hot mineral springs, and they were good for bathing. That water was good for cleaning or a cleanse. And then the other city had these icy waters that were refreshing to the soul. They were clear. They were good to drink. But right there at Laodicea, this water would converge and be lukewarm. And some scholars even say that it was, people would complain about the smell. It was stinky. And so Jesus says, that water is water I would spit out. You're not hot, you're not cold, you're lukewarm, and it's distasteful. To the point it makes me sick that I would spit you out. That's how you're living your life. So it was less about spiritual temperature and more about spiritual fruit. And so I want to encourage you today with this wisdom, so to speak, is that today you would be hot or cold, that you would be refreshing to someone, or you would help someone in the cleansing process and pointing them in the right direction and pointing them away from something that would be bad to something that would good, or you would be an encourager to someone today. So do that today. Don't be apathetic in your walk. You know, today it's a hard time. It's easy to be mopey. There's so much going on. There's so much tragedy. But we can be a light. We can be positive if we would step into those moments that are in front of us. And so today, don't step back. Don't be apathetic. Step into a moment today. It might be one person. It might be a group of people. But whatever it is, seize a moment to be positive. Seize a moment to be an encourager. Seize a moment to point someone away from something that would be detrimental to their soul to something that would be healthy for their soul, positive for their soul. So today, no lukewarmness. Let's be hot, let's be cold, but let's produce some fruit today for Jesus. This has been Wisdom Wednesday. I hope you're doing well. God bless.